All right, what is going on, everybody? We are back with some NBA game reviews, I guess you could call them. We're just gonna talk about some games that happened Monday, some games that happened yesterday. That's Tuesday, and some series ended. We're looking at a more clear Western Conference and Eastern Conference semifinals picture. I'm gonna give some predictions. We're gonna talk about the games, obviously. I want to talk about some implications of some games, so on and so forth. Talk about some teams that got eliminated. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinion, comment them down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. And yeah, let's jump right into it like we have been doing for the past, I guess, week or two now, talking about the playoff picture, the bracket. Um, we'll start in the West as we always do. Oklahoma is waiting for the winner of Nuggets Clippers. Right now, Denver leads the series 3-2 after stealing a game in LA, returning to Denver to absolutely destroy the Clippers. When was that? That was last night? Yeah, last night. So that's an interesting game. They're heading back to LA to talk about who I think the Thunder should play or want to play. Um, at the beginning of this whole playoff run, I would have said they'd rather have played the Nuggets, right? The Thunder should have wanted to play the Nuggets. And now that I'm looking at it, because the Clippers I think match up a little bit better, but seeing as what the Nuggets have done in was it 3, 4, 5 games in the playoffs so far, they've had to fight tooth and nail for every game, and it hasn't been easy except this last game. Um, I think the Thunder would want to play the Clippers because the Nuggets are just they're really rolling. They're looking like that championship team that won it a few years ago now. They look very, very good. I'm starting to like the Nuggets more. I had my questions about them earlier in the regular season and then throughout the season, and then obviously the firing of Mike Malone, their longtime head coach, the winningest head coach in their franchise history. I think there are very few teams that can take out this Oklahoma City Thunder team. Um, they were the first to advance. They swept. They're one of the. Are they the only team? No, the Cavs swept as well in the Eastern Conference. Um, I think the only teams that could really beat this Thunder team are the Nuggets, are the Cavs, and are the Celtics, and and mayhaps the Knicks, but I don't know. They dropped this game against the Pistons, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but maybe the Knicks. Um, moving on to the other game in the West, the other series in the West, Lakers versus Timberwolves. Timberwolves have a chance to close the series out tonight. They are up 3-1. They are in LA. I usually don't give game predictions for these playoffs because I think it's a swing, it's a miss, it's a swing, it's a miss. It's a boxing match essentially. Um, but I think this game, I think the performance that the Lakers had last time they played the Timberwolves left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. A lot of LA fans are very worried about this next game, but I think I'm pretty optimistic for the Lakers this next game. I think they can win this game in LA and head back to Minnesota, and then Minnesota's gonna win the what would that be game six? I think Minnesota wins game six. I don't think they win game five though. Um, Another 3-1 series in the last spot in the West, Rockets versus Warriors. The Warriors up 3-1 versus the Rockets. We'll talk about that game immediately after we finish this playoff picture recap. This was a crazy game. We'll talk about that though. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. uh Cavs beat the Heat 4-0, and then on the other side, the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Pacers 4-1 on a crazy sequence of events at the end of the game. Really, really Very very exciting if you're a Pacers fan. Very disappointing if you're a Bucks fan. I do want to talk about the Heat a little bit here, and their season is over. I do want to talk about the Bucks too, just a little bit. Um, at the end of this video, talking about the game and everything. Before the Heat, um, the Heat are in a weird spot. I've seen it's always gonna be overreactionary when your season ends when you can't when you really can't think straight is what I'll put it as. Some people want Tyler Hero traded, who had a bad game, who had a bad series, as a matter of fact. Some people want Bam Adebayo, the longtime project center who formed into an all-star and became all these things, but really hasn't taken that next step to be the guy, be the face of this franchise. Um, they want him traded. I don't know what the answer is. I think the hopefulness of getting Giannis Antetokounmpo, getting Kevin Durant, getting anybody else who might be on the market this summer. Some people want Pat Riley to their longtime president of basketball operations. I think he is essentially the GM. Essentially, not essentially. What's the word I'm looking for? Um, runs the team along with the GM. Um, officially in title, not in actual doing the trades anymore. Um, I've always said, I think I said this in a video. If I haven't, I've been meaning to say it. I think Pat Riley, long time. I was looking at his basketball reference the other day. Um, he has been around basketball for like almost a century, which is crazy. Maybe like 30 years short of a century, 20 years short of a century, but still, it's very impressive. He's lost his fastball. He's lost um, his I don't even know how to say it. It's like his acumen. His acumen isn't bad, but he's just lost the rhythm that you need to have in this league because this league is constantly changing. Um, and there's a funny picture, and it's Pat Riley falling asleep at a playoff game. I think this was like 2 3 years ago, right? And the caption above it was "Wake up, Mr. Riley." He's an old man. He's 80. I think he just needs to move on. And I think this team, I would be a big proponent of moving this team into a different era. This era has run its course. Um, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Dwayne Wade at the end of his career era is over. I think the positive thing to do is just tweak this team. If you can rebuild and get Kevin Durant or get Giannis or get whoever, and just tweak the team and retool it, and then continue to have these playoff runs. This obviously was one of their least successful playoff runs. Getting swept is never good, and I think a lot of Heat players shared that sentiment in their post game interview, talking about this series and talking about the game. But I think for the Heat, I think it's time to turn the page and turn the chapter. Um, we'll talk about Bucks Pacers. I made a whole video about the Bucks and their future and Damian Lillard and not necessarily about this game, but we'll talk about this game um, yesterday. So if you want to check that out, I'll put a card in the top right corner. Just click it, take you right to the video. Knicks Pistons. This is another one we're gonna get to. This was just a this. I guess I should say this here before we talk about the game from the other night. Let me talk about this series. This series has slowly turning into one of my favorite series because there's just so much going on. There's just so much things going on and like extracurricular things, like people dinged up. Cade Cunningham not really getting it going till the second half in like almost all these games. Um, and man, I've never been the biggest Karl Anthony Towns fan, but Karl Anthony Towns is winning me over this playoff series. The Knicks starting center, he is just electric. He has come up big every time they've needed it. I think obviously he needs a little more from everybody else. Not to say this Knicks team doesn't give it 110% because they really do, and so does this Pistons team. But I think Carl's great, man. I think Knicks fans are very lucky to have him, and To be quite honest, I would not trade Karl Towns for Giannis. I just wouldn't. I think Karl fits so perfectly on this team. And lastly, here, Celtics versus the Magic. Oh, pardon me, I forgot to say, the Knicks are up 3-2, heading back to Detroit to play the Pistons. We'll get to that. That's on May 1st, the first of the month. And lastly, here we have the Celtics beating the Magic 4-1 in very convincing fashion, 120-89. Celtics win, and they move on to the conference semis, awaiting the winner of Knicks Pistons. Um, I have thoughts about the Magic. I'm probably gonna make a video about it. But the biggest thing that stuck out to me, and the first thing I'm gonna say is very obvious in what everybody's been saying, but the second thing I'm gonna say is something a bit more, something I think. This team needs more offense. It needs a actual igniter. It needs somebody to really light a fire under these guys and get their own momentum going. And I had even heard rumors before the Damian Lillard injury that they could try to trade for Dame. That's not going to happen now. Um, but the second thing I think this team needs is Paulo and Franz, the two rising stars or stars that have arrived, that are the engine of this team. That when they miss games, the team feels it. One of them needs a 3-point shot. One of them needs one. I think that's the biggest thing they could work on this offseason is they need a 3-point shot. They desperately need one. This team absolutely sucks when they don't have the three ball going. It just looks the offense just looks so flat. It looks so mundane. It looks so melancholy. Whatever word you want to use, it just looks so ugh. And there were times during the series where you could see Paulo just wanted to run up the floor and just walk into a 3-point shot, and he did it sometimes, and it would completely miss. And Franz would do the same thing, and both these guys need a 3-point shot. That's what would take this team to the next level. If there is no trade, I think that's the most reasonable thing they could do. I think there is going to be a trade this offseason. I think they have so many assets that they can consolidate and make something into turn three players into one player, and that one player is the piece they need. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So yeah, that's the playoff picture. We're gonna talk about some of these games. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinion, comment them down below. If you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. I don't think I said that at the beginning. I said it now. Um, some of these games, I'm not going to necessarily talk about the games or the stats or anything, but I will talk about um, what happened in them in a sense. And first game, as an example, Rockets Warriors. This game reminded me of the old Rockets Warriors battles back in the early in the late to mid 2000 teens. Um, just the first half was a lot of stoppages. There were a lot of technicals being thrown out. There were a lot of flagrant fouls happening. There was stoppages. There was reviews at the monitor. There was this. There was that. It was all encompassing. It was a really slow game to start off, and then the second half was really good. They got the momentum going a little bit. Both teams did. Both teams gave it their all. The final score of this game was 109 Warriors, Rockets 106. Um, I objectively as a Steph Curry fan first, but as a Warriors fan second. Um, this game was just crazy. This is like a theatrical performance for both these teams, especially for two guys in particular. The theatrical performance came from Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. Um, I said I made a I made a video when this Jimmy Butler trade happened to the Warriors, and I told people, I told y'all, I told you guys, I said, I questioned the fit with Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green a little bit, but they have history. They were teammates at Team USA before this. They kind of fit each other's um mentality of like grit and toughness and not really caring, sometimes to the detriment of the team. But both these guys, Draymond Green 6 points, 2 assists, 8 rebounds, a flagrant foul, 5 personal fouls, a technical. Um, just all the extracurricular things that Draymond Green does, but they work. And they specifically work on a young team like the Rockets where sometimes they just don't know what to do. There was a clip of Draymond. I didn't see it during the game, but I saw it after the game, where the Rockets were trying to huddle, right? And they were just huddling on the in a dead ball, and they were just talking. Um, and Draymond Green just walks over and just looks in the huddle and is listening and is just there, and it visibly annoys Shangoon and Ahmed Thompson and Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, and they're just like, "What the hell is he doing here?" And they push him away, and he's just smiling, and he's crazy guy. Jimmy Butler, 27 points, 6 rebounds, or 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Um, very pretty efficient. Played 40 minutes, 7 of 12 overall. 1 of 2 from 3 point. He had a great game. Um, in the second half, in the first half, I really didn't feel like he was there, but the second half, fucking turned on the igniter again. You need an ignite. The Magic need an igniter. Jimmy Butler igniter for the Warriors this game. Other guys they had let's see, one, two, three, four, five guys in double digits. The other leading scorer for this game was Brandon Podziemski, 26 points. Um, yeah, really good game for the Warriors. This is the kind of game that this team needs to play all the time. Really, really good stuff. For the Rockets, they were fighting this game. They were trying to do everything they could. There were runs for them. They really went on a run. When was that? I think towards the end of the first, into the second. The Warriors started the game off really hot, and then the Rockets just came out and snuffed it out and really made it a game. Let's see here. You got one, two, three, four guys in double digits. Um, for the Rockets, leading scorer for them, Fred VanVleet, 25. He attempted to take the game clinching shot at the end, did not make it. We'll talk about the end of the game in a second. Um, actually, Fred VanVleet, second leading scorer, Alperen Şengün, 31 points. I told you guys, Alperen Şengün's the key to this series. Um, he's the key. When he has a big game like this, they're supposed to win these games. 31 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. You had Ahmed in double digits. You had Dylan Brooks in double digits. Um, Ime Udoka for the Rockets running a very thin lineup compared to the Warriors. You only had 3 people off the bench, and none of them were in double digits. None of them had double assists. None of them had double rebounds. Didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Jabari Smith came in off the bench and had a couple moments, but wasn't able to really give the lift that the Rockets wanted. And I'll talk about the elephant in the room here. Jalen Green for the Rockets, shooting guard, absolute buns this series. Um, 8 points, 5 turnovers, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Not on the floor for any of the closing possessions. Um, yeah, just they don't really have much else to go to. I mean, they're running a pretty thin lineup. I think Jalen Green just needs to come off the bench. I don't care what he gives you. Five turnovers doesn't help you. 8 points doesn't help you. 1 of 5 from three. 3 of 8 overall from field goal. Don't start him. That'd be my advice to the Rockets. But I think they will start him. I think they're just going to keep running this lineup because they can convince themselves. We were so close. It was only a couple point lead, a couple point win the Warriors got. Whatever, whatever. Um, let's talk about the end of the game. The end of the game was crazy. Um, the final possession, more or less, um, was Alperen Şengün on Draymond Green. Draymond Green doing what he does. Um, Alperen Şengün bailed. Well, I think Draymond Green did a tremendous job on defense, but Şengün really bailed Draymond out, putting up like this post hook, this soft Euro basketball post hook that only Nikola Jokic can hit in crunch time. And Draymond was all there for it. He was hyped. He was clapping. Um, Jimmy Butler flies in from the opposite side, secures the board, and essentially wins the game for the Warriors. And this is the little stuff that, as much as I like Ime Udoka, the Rockets coach, he doesn't have these guys aren't built for this yet. Like literally the only people that are built for these games are Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet. And they both had substantial games. They have really good games. Um or Fred VanVleet had a very very good game. Dylan Brooks had a Dylan Brooks game. Um if one of my starting five can't close a game, he shouldn't be in the starting five. Jalen Green, I'm talking about. It's just it's a bad look. I think the Warriors have like a 90% chance to win this next game and close it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Rockets won it this next game. But the Warriors will win the series. Book it. Another series with a lot of ups and downs, with a lot of grittiness to it. This Pistons New York game. The Pistons got the win last game, 106 to the New York Knicks 103. I really don't have a lot to say about this series or this game. I kind of said what I wanted to say in the bracket breakdown, but just talk about some numbers here. Tobias Harris 17, Asor Thompson 22, Cade Cunningham 24. The biggest thing the Pistons need, I'll repeat myself, is for Cade to get going early because these last couple games he's had a bad first half, and then the second half he comes in and lights it up. Needs to get going a bit more. Dennis Schroeder, a big 14 points. Malik Beasley, I think I said Mikal last time. It's Malik Beasley, 10 points. Um, they fought tooth and nail for this game. Um, this is the kind of game. We'll move to the Knicks here, where you have one, two, three, four, five, six. You have six people in double digits, right, for the New York Knicks. The whole starting five play 35 plus minutes. Um, this is the kind of game where you need to win. You need to win this game and just close the series out because now you've given the Celtics a chance to rest. Jason Tatum obviously still dealing with that wrist injury. Drew Holiday hasn't played a lot for the Celtics in their last series. He gets a chance to rest. I'm not saying this is why the Knicks will never win a championship or whatever, but these are the games you need. These games are so important. These games are so important. Just close them out. Don't give Don't give the Celtics a chance to rest any days extra. You get the same amount of rest as the Celtics. If you had won this game, you're waiting for this other bracket to finish, the other side. This is the reason why you need to really come up big in these games. And to be quite honest, I was very impressed with the Knicks closing this game, like before the last couple minutes, before the last couple seconds even. You need to you need to close out these games, man. You need to. Um, You need to. I'm looking at the play by play here. Um, I'm scrolling down for the bottom. Um, the OG Anunoby 24-foot, 26-foot 3-point shot at the end was a surprise to me. That was a huge one for the Knicks. Um, but man, they needed this game, and I encourage everybody to watch this game. This is a great game to watch. These are great games to watch. Um, I, I I'm not a Knicks hater. I want the Knicks to play the um the Celtics because I think it's a better matchup. But I think I think um I think this will go seven. I picked the Pistons to win this. I don't think they're gonna win it now, but I think it's gonna go seven. Moving on to this Denver Nuggets Clippers series. The Clippers like the Knicks, dropping the ball when you could have gone up 3-1, and instead the series is flipped and the Nuggets are up 3-2. Um, this was the game that I think every Western Conference team fears when playing the Nuggets, where this starting five is firing on all cylinders. Aaron Gordon, 23. Michael Porter Jr., 14. Nikola Jokic, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Something light, something easy for the three-time MVP. Jamal Murray. This is playoff Jamal Murray. 43 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Incredible stuff for Jamal Murray. This is the Jamal Murray, not this performance. 43 points is crazy. I think he leads the team, the franchise, in most 40-point games with 6, and Nikola Jokic has 5. Good for him. Christian Braun with 11. Um, this is the kind of game that whenever you play the Nuggets, you're like, this could happen. This is a possibility. Um, and the rest of the team, you had Russell Westbrook off the bench, 21 points, brought all the energy. Um, really, really needed this game. Um, really need this kind of game from Russell Westbrook, I should say. And the Clippers, man, the Clippers always do this. They have a chance to really push the envelope. What was that game? The game where Aaron Gordon got the game-winning dunk. You had an opportunity to really put your foot down, and you didn't. And then you have to come to Denver this next game, right now I'm talking about. Um, and you piss the bed. Um, Kawhi Leonard, 20 points for the Clippers, nine rebounds, 11 assists, almost a triple double. Ivica Zubac, 27 points. Um, Norman Powell, 12 points. Chris Dunn, 15 points. Bogdan Bogdanovic gave it his all off the bench, 18 points. And the elephant in the room, James Harden, again, it's been going on as long as he's been playing basketball. Just doesn't show up. 11 points, 4 personal fouls, 4 turnovers, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. Did not hit a 3. 3 of 9 overall from field goal. Um, this is what the Clippers fans are scared of. I mean, when Kawhi Leonard has a history of being injured and he's actually playing and he's playing well and he's looked the best he's ever looked, you really would expect a guy like James Harden to be like, "Oh, this is our moment. This is it." 11 points isn't good enough, James. It's not good enough. Um, this was a hell of a game to watch, but it was over around halfway through the third. Um, you could tell who had the momentum, and yeah, that's really it. I mean, we can look at some team stats here. The field goal was closer than you would think it is, both in the 50s. Nuggets edged it out by 55% to the Clippers 52. Um, Clippers shot the ball terribly, 37% to the Nuggets 51% from 3. They took a similar amount of free throws. Nuggets had the better percentage at 78. Um, the rebound battle was very close, but the Clippers edge out the Nuggets 10 offensive rebounds to the Nuggets 8, and the Nuggets had 30 defensive rebounds to the Clippers 28. And the biggest lead for the Nuggets was 22. The Clippers never led. Last game, Pacers versus the Bucks. Um, Pacers won the game 119 to the Bucks 118. The end of this game, I cannot describe the end of this game to you. I would just suggest go watch it. Um, the things I will say about this game very, very quickly, because there isn't really a lot to say. There's a whole lot to theorize and expound upon, but just know both these teams' starting fives were in double digits. This was a prayer for the Bucks. They came out and said, we need to win this game. We need to win this game. They almost won this game. They almost won this game because of Gary Trent Jr., who led the team with 33 points, but they lost the game also because of Gary Trent Jr. We'll talk about the stats a little bit. I do want to just talk about the end of this game. It was an overtime game. And I want to talk about the breakdown the Bucks had at the end of this game. With under 30 seconds left, Gary Trent Jr. passes the ball. It's a bad pass. Andrew Nembhard for the Pacers steals the ball. Tyrese Halliburton makes a layup. AJ Green fouls him. Tyrese makes the one free throw. And Doc Rivers, I talk a lot of shit about Doc Rivers on this channel, but Doc Rivers smartly takes a timeout. The Bucks are leading 118 to 117. There's some lineup changes. Pascal Siakam comes in for the Pacers. And right after this timeout, Gary Trent loses the ball out of bounds. And then with 10 seconds left, no timeout, no nothing for anybody. The Pacers inbound the ball. They get it to Tyrese. They work it around, and Tyrese drives in the lane right over Giannis. Right over Giannis, and he seals the game for the Pacers, and the Bucks have no timeouts. They don't have anything. Gary Trent has to hoist up a shot, and that was that. That was it. The Bucks season was over. As close as they were to extending the season was as far away as they were from going home. Giannis gave it his all. This was a send off game. This was really encompassing of his whole Bucks career. This is the type of game you would always get from Giannis. 30 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 13 assists, 20 rebounds. He'd have 7 turnovers and 5 personal fouls. But you got to give this guy credit for really just dragging his team to this point at all. Nobody else really jumps out to me on this page. They did start AJ Green this game. Kyle Kuzma did come off the bench. Brook Lopez also came off the bench. Like I said, man, this was a prayer. They were just trying anything to win this game. The Bucks were, and for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton with 26, Miles Turner with 21. They got something from everybody. Again, whole starting 5 in double digits. They had TJ McConnell come off the bench with 18 points. Really crazy stuff. But the craziest part was at the end of the game, Giannis being the class act that he is, shaking everybody's hand on the Pacers, congratulating everybody. And then he gets into it with Benedict Mathurin, Pacers forward / guard. He like it was so funny because Giannis has such big hands. He grabs the back of Mathurin's head and he's talking to him, and Mathurin doesn't like it. And he's pushing him. He's like, "Hey, chill, chill, chill," right? And he's talking to him, and it's a whole kerfuffle. But the other kerfuffle that Giannis had was with a fan, right? A fan came onto the court and and was talking shit to Giannis, and Giannis didn't like it, and the fan was Tyrese Halliburton's dad, and Giannis didn't know it. Giannis said after in his post game interview, he said I didn't know it was Tyrese's dad, but you should win with humility, win with poise, all that stuff. And he ended it with like, "I'm a champion. I know what I'm talking about." And I agree with Giannis in a sense, and I think even Tyrese agreed with Giannis because he said, that wasn't cool. He apologized and everything like that. So that was really it. This Bucks game, this Pacers series was great. This is probably the last iteration of this series we're going to get. They've played each other so many times. The Bucks have won. The Pacers have won. The Bucks won the NBA Cup against the Pacers, and this was a great series. This was a great rivalry, and I think this is the last of it. But if it isn't, I hope we get more. And if it is, then this was good. Um, yeah, that's it. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my other videos. Check out um, the channel if you're new. Um, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you all next time. Cheers.